It's 10:20 and I don't really want to go to bed. I don't really want to stop playing. I think we're just gonna keep on trucking. I think we're just gonna truck into part 3. I think I'm just gonna keep on schmoovin'. You know? Why not schmoove while we can? I have work tomorrow. Like, I have to be a functioning human being tomorrow, unlike today where I had the day off. But, video games, you know? Video games. So with that, part 3. Let's rescue Estinian and shit. Fortuitous timing as always, Kinliana. Tatru was about to brief me on the search for our missing comrades. If you would be so kind, then. Absolutely. You'll be pleased to hear that Ryol and his men have been making excellent progress. You remember how Flamine helped me escape the Crystal Braves in Limsa Laminsa, only to then disappear? Well, according to Ryol, she crept aboard a ship bound for Radzat Han, where she has been hiding ever since. He assures me that it won't be long before we're reunited. As for Ida and Papalimo, the remains of their link pearls have been found, and in the Pearl Lane of all places. Ryol thinks they must have disposed of them after escaping from the Royal Promenade. Yes, that would make sense. They cannot risk being eavesdropped upon by our betrayers. We're all but certain they fled the city shortly after, though we still don't have a clue where they went. I see. And what of Thancred and Amphilia? I'm afraid I have got nothing to share about those two. But it's not all doom and gloom. The news is we've enlisted the services of a Charlian scholar, one of the students of Baldessian, to aid in the search, who should be arriving any day now. One of the students, you say? I should very much like to meet this scholar, if time permits. But first, we must attend to a more pressing matter. Sir Emmerich has summoned the two of us for a private audience. The messenger did not specify what he wished to discuss, only that it was urgent. Assuming you have no objections, Kinliana, I suggest we proceed to the congregation forthwith. And mayhap we can meet with the scholar afterwards. Agreed? In that case, I think I'll return to the Forgotten Knight for now. Things are liable to fall apart if I'm gone too long, you know? I forgot that they didn't actually introduce Kryl physically until here. Because Kryl helps out in A Realm Reborn, but then gets, like, smacked into a coma. So you never actually meet her. Lord Commander's within. Pray proceed, miss. Excuse me. Hiccups.
Thank you for coming. I wish to speak with you both in a place where privacy was assured.
We quite understand. What was it that you wished to discuss?
With my father's passing, the seat of the Archbishop lies vacant. And so, in accordance with canon law, I have assumed his responsibilities. I should stress that this is a temporary measure. It was never intended that the Lord Commander of the Temple Knights serve in this capacity indefinitely. Quite the opposite. The statutes specify that I should surrender my powers as soon as a conclave of the senior clergy and the high houses have named a new archbishop. But in light of recent events, that would not seem appropriate.
That was my mother sneezing from a whole room away.
Yes, I did not expect you to divulge quite so much quite so soon. The details of the Archbishop's plans, perhaps, but the true origin of the war and all it entails?
I too had concerns. But when the Warrior of Light is witnessed returning to the capital upon the back of a dragon, one's options are rather limited. Mayhap I could have concealed certain details, but for how long? And at what risk? Should the truth have come to light in the meantime, how would the people have viewed...
It also was through a closed door. That's how powerful her sneezes are.
After 1,000 years of lies and secrecy, I could not well abuse their trust and hope to be believed. The time for deception has passed. I only wish the people agreed. That some would deny the truth I had anticipated, but not this many. and among the few who acknowledge that my father had to be stopped, no small number question our methods.
If they suspect a coup, it will not be long before some turn to violence.
It has already begun, and that on both sides. Men and women of the cloth are being harassed in the streets. Some have even been assaulted in the Broom. Hilda and her people have formed a watch to help us maintain order. But such measures will not prevent the unrest from spreading.
For all our talk of peace, the people remain frightened and confused. For their sake, we must bring the Dragonsong War to a definitive end.
And we should be glad to help you, Sir Emmerich. But what precisely would you have us do?
We wish to treat with the dragons of Annex Trine. To that end, I would trouble you for an escort and an introduction.
Annex Trine? You would speak with Vidofnir then?
We must needs open a dialogue between our peoples. Acting as my representative, Lucia will extend an invitation to their leader, that she might visit us here in Ishgard. Were she still with us, I would of course have beseeched Isel's assistance in this matter. But as she is not, I must ask that you aid us in her stead. Will you do us this favor?
Stoic nod.
Thank you, my friends. Lucia, I leave the rest to you.
In the wake of the Archbishop's fall, the nation of Ishgard trembled, the faith of her people shaken to its very core. For 1,000 years had they fought and died, certain of the justice of their cause, only to be told that their holy war was born of the sins of their forefathers. What then for those brave men and women, thus stripped of their righteousness but to despair, to deny the truth and decry its speakers? And what then for those whom they defamed but to hope on, to have faith in a brighter tomorrow? A tomorrow in which man and dragon might live together in harmony, then as distant as the very stars in the heavens. Yet while we dared to hope, deep within his lair the enemy lay, gathering his strength. Nidhogg, now possessed of his 2 eyes and the body of the Azure Dragoon, prizes to which he had laid claim at the very hour of the hero's triumph. As desperately as we sought the solace of peace, the great worm craved the misery of war. Nor was he alone in his misbegotten desire.
Nidhogg Angie. I know little of the lands these dragons call home, this Annex Trine. Had you not agreed to escort me, the coming journey would seem a far more daunting prospect. I confess, I myself once shuddered at the thought of it, yet even the longest journey begins with the first step, does it not? Ah, but ere we set forth, Kinliana and I must needs inform our comrade of our plans. Very well, I shall see to my preparations. Let us go and bid farewell to Tataru, Kinliana. So, what's your secret meeting all about? I'm all ears. A diplomatic mission to XIV, you say? Well, I suppose that does take precedence. But should your meeting with Vidofnir happen to end early, you might consider rendezvousing with Y'shtola in Idleshire. She'll be there to receive our guest. Don't get me wrong, your meeting with the dragons is terribly important and everything, but this scholar just happens to be... time permitting, as I said. We shall endeavour to join Y'shtola, but if we cannot, pray pass on our regards. Let us be off, Kinliana. We have kept the first commander waiting long enough. But Alfino is your girlfriend. Okay, I know that you're too busy worrying about your boyfriend Estinian. It's okay. You all ready then? Good, so am I. The path is long but known to us. From Falcon's Nest we shall cross the western highlands and make for Tailfeather in the Dervanian forelands. There we can stop to rest and replenish our supplies. Questions? If not, the stables await. Wow, if you know, fucking taking charge up in here. Alfino's like, bitch! I've had to do this like 4 times. Because he had to take Kane through here too. I always imagined that the first time I set foot upon Dervanian soil would be at the head of an army, and here I am, ready to treat with the brothers and sisters of mine enemies. Full well do I know how difficult it can be to set aside the past. Though it was I who first proposed recruiting Yazel to our cause, I questioned the wisdom of my words almost as soon as I had uttered them, and for a long time after that. Here was a woman with the blood of innocence on her hands, men, women, children, all slain in the name of an implacable Lady Iceheart. Yet she acknowledged her misdeeds and agreed to join our common cause. At our side, she fought in service of that greater good, even unto her dying breath. And while that does not absolve her of her sins, I hope that one day she will be remembered not merely as a heretic, but as a misguided soul who dreamt of peace. You ask much, Master Alfino, yet who can say what might come to pass, should our negotiations bear fruit? Yes, of course. We must press on to XIV, if you would follow me. I'm just gonna fucking teleport there. Whee! Nope. Good to go up. She up. You go up. Up. Yep, here we are. Hello, Vidofnir. Thou art ever welcome here, friend of Yazel. But this one I do not know. Pray forgive us this unannounced visit, Vidofnir. May I present to you Lucia, first commander of the Temple Knights of Ishgard, and our trusted friend. It is an honor to meet you, Vidofnir. I have come as an envoy of Sir Emmerich, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, and active leader of the Holy See. Indeed, you may speak, knight. For 1,000 years, men and dragon have been locked in an endless cycle of bloodshed and sorrow. To our shame, we long believed your kin to be the architects of this war, but now we know the truth, that King Thornton and his Knights 12 did willfully betray and murder the great worm Ratatoskr, shattering the peace between our people. For 1,000 years, our leaders conspired to conceal this truth, a truth which was laid bare by the Warrior of Light, the Azure Dragoon, and Yazel. Alas, a deception so intricately wrought cannot be undone in a moment, and our people labor to accept the truth. After an eternity of war, who would dare to dream that peace could at last be within our grasp? Yet dream we must, as Yazel once did. We must make that dream a reality, as she could not. We humbly beseech you, Vidofnir, join hands with us in friendship once more, before the eyes of my people in Ishgard. A most unexpected invitation. I have heard your request, knight. However, I cannot yet give you mine answer. May I ask why? The matter concerneth my sire. He must needs be consulted. Moreover, the Nath grow bold, even as they did before, and I would not leave my people at the mercy of the swarm. Then I will wait. After 1,000 years at war, we shall not give up on peace for want of patience. Ha! Fear not, knight. Thou shalt have mine answer within thy lifetime. So soon? My humble thanks. I shall bear your words to my lord forthwith, until we meet again. Given the circumstances, I would say that went rather well. To be frank, I'm surprised her proposal was not rejected outright. Whether aught will come of it remains to be seen, however. Mayhap I should take this opportunity to speak with some of the other dragons. Ah, but you need not wait for me. The return journey holds no fear for me now. Well, if you have no further need of our services, we shall continue on to Charlian. We hope to welcome a scholar who has agreed to aid us in the search for our missing comrades. Then I pray your journey is swift and uneventful as ours was, and thank you again for sparing the time to assist us, even when such grave matters remain unresolved. I can think of no graver matter than a 1,000-year war, one which our friends gave their lives to see ended. Suffice it to say, I would willingly make 1,000 such journeys to ensure that the sacrifice was not in vain. Of that I have no doubt, Master Alfino. I only hope the fates will not hold you to your word. So, it would seem we have time to greet this scholar after all. How delightful. I shall be interested to hear how she means to go about finding Minfilia and Thancred. I can only assume she is privy to some new investigative technique. In any event, our first order of business is to rendezvous with Y'shtola in Idleshire. Except it's fucking nighttime again, so we can't enjoy the music I've wanted to hear all day. Fuck. Why is it always nighttime in Eorzea? Ah, Kinliana, 'tis good to see you. I confess I had assumed your business in Annex Trine would detain you longer. Did your meeting with Vidofnir go well? As well as can be expected. She must discuss Sir Emeric's proposal with Hraesvelgr, of course, but she seemed amenable to the suggestion. What of our Charlian guest? Has she arrived yet? She has, but when I explained to you that you would be joining us, she asked if she might use the intervening time to explore. I agreed to meet her outside on Front Bridge. We should be on our way. Orb.
I'm terribly, terribly sorry to have kept you all waiting.
You need not apologize. We arrived but a moment ago ourselves. Pray, allow me to introduce Kral, who has recently come from the Charlian motherland. She has generously offered to assist us.
Oh, please, think nothing of it. A trip to Eorzea was long overdue. You must be the Warrior of Light. Yes, you certainly do look the part. A pleasure to meet you at last, miss. And who is that I spy but young Alphino Levieux himself? I dare say someone's grown an ilm or two in my absence. Or are those lifts in your boots?
Miss Krile and I met at the Studium years ago. I shall forever be indebted to her for her sage guidance.
It was no small task keeping him out of trouble, believe you me. The youngest ever to enter the Studium, him and his sister, 11-year-old prodigies. Suffice it to say, social graces were not among his list of talents. Striding up to his seniors on his first day, head held high. What was it he said again?
Thank you, Krile.
For what? I haven't finished yet. Would you care to attempt a more dexterous deflection?
Mayhap we should save this delightful conversation for a more fitting occasion. when pressing matters do not demand our undivided attention.
A bit much, but better. I can tell you have been putting your skills to use here in Eorzea. Henceforth, I trust you will dazzle me with your eloquence at the first time of asking.
Pick on Elfino hours.
Right, on to more pressing matters. Finding Minfilia and the other missing scions.
I gather you have new information to share with us.
A new approach, actually. Tataru recounted the tale of your escape, and it gave me an idea. Simply put, assuming Thancred left some manner of trail when you whisked him away, as is almost always the case with teleportation magics, I am confident I can find and follow it.
Then what are you waiting for?
The wherewithal to do it. The fact is, my abilities aren't quite up to the task. Not in themselves, anyway. If I had Master Matoya's crystal eye, on the other hand...
Then let us all call on her forthwith. I think it best that you explain your plan to her in person.
Let's go see the cranky grandma again. Fly, Dodo, fly! You did say we were headed for a cave, did you not? Because I certainly don't see a cave nearby. Is Master Matoya meeting us on the way or something? I have heard many stories of Master Matoya, some quite flattering, others less so. Rest assured they are all true. This way, and have care where you tread.
Oh, is that trouble I smell? Or did you forget to wipe your boots on the way in?
Forgive us, Master Matoya. We will be sure to wipe them on the way out. And may I say how glad I am that age has not yet deprived you of your senses.
Ever so quick-witted, aren't we? To the detriment of your manners. Well, out with it then. What do you want?
Pray, allow me to introduce myself, Master Matoya. I am Kryl, of the students of Baldessian. I hope you will excuse our unannounced visit.
Baldessian, you say? Ah, yes. The old coot set up shop on the Isle of Val, didn't he?
Regrettably, our order's headquarters and the isle itself were obliterated by a magic of immense power. I have the blessing of light to thank for my own preservation.
Kryl, you too possess the Echo.
Well, yes, of course I do. Our order is devoted to uncovering the mysteries of Hydaelyn and interpreting her will, particularly through the study of her gift to us. It was in the course of these studies that I met and subsequently befriended Minfilia. She and I have rather a lot in common.
I had no idea.
You weren't supposed to. Not that I wanted to deceive you, you understand, but precautions had to be taken.
Yes, yes, that's all well and good, but you still haven't told me why you're here.
The students of Baldessian are gone, and there is naught I can do to change that. But the science of the Seventh Dawn can yet be restored, and my dear friend found. You have in your possession an ancient crystal of light, one you call your crystal eye. I believe I can use it to focus my abilities and locate one of the missing scions.
And there I was, thinking you might want to make use of my years of experience. Oh, wait here.
You used your years of experience earlier. We can't use that every time we show up.
Long did I ponder the nature of this crystal and its familiar radiance, but never did I suspect it was a crystal of light.
On the cusp of an umbral calamity, souls blessed with the power of the Echo invariably appear. To aid these, her chosen warriors, Hydaelyn bequeaths to each a slither of her strength in the form of a crystal of light. But as her strength wanes, so too does the potency of her gifts. This crystal, born of an earlier era, is infused with a power far greater than those of this age.
Yeah.
I've been lurking all day watching FF14 LMAO.
Hell yeah, player hater. Thank you for the 19-month resub, Big Preesh. I hope you've been enjoying this spicy story. You've been here lurking, you caught probably at least one death. You probably saw us kill the Pope. You didn't even have to be paying a lot of attention, but like your brain absorbed a lot of shit that's going down. Hope you're having a good night.
No two manifestations of the Echo are alike. I, for example, can converse with beings of every shape and size, excepting beasts, contrary to what others would have you believe. Language has nothing to do with it, of course. Rather, I am sensitive to the whispers of the soul. Their intent, their very essence even, the traces of which serve to guide the elementals to Y'shtola. Far-fetched though it may sound, I believe that with your crystal eye, I may be able to pick up where they left off and follow the remaining trail to Thancred. That is, if I have your permission.
Well, the poor sod's not going to find himself. So, as long as you don't drop it or take it out of my sight, you may do with it what you will.
Thank you, Master Matoya. Then let us begin. From the Black Shroud, the trail continues to the north and west, towards a mountain, the foot of Som Al. It was a near thing, but he was not deposited within the rock. I think.
The hunters of Tailfeather know those lands well. I say we begin our search there.
So it'd be like, get out of my house. Yeah, I have to work tomorrow too, but I decided that video games were more fun than sleep. I'll probably go to bed by like 11:30. Figure I, 11:30, midnight. Yeah, 5 in the morning. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, I'm not looking forward to working tomorrow or this week or... Just work. Work bad. Work very bad. Work evil. Were I to find myself in an unfamiliar wilderness, my first instinct would be to seek out signs of civilization. Ordinarily, perhaps, but in his wounded state, he may not have wished to risk contact with strangers of unknown allegiance. Yet, even had Thancred chosen to remain in the forest, the hunters would surely have stumbled across his trail. Tailfeather doesn't strike me as an isolated outpost, though. Merchants and traders pass through reasonably regularly, do they not? In which case, we'll need to provide a more detailed description when we question the locals. Fear not, Kryl. I've already prepared several sketches of Thancred for that very purpose. This is impressive. You drew him from memory. A skill I acquired some years ago for reasons I no longer remember. I propose we split into two pairs. Y'shtola and I will inquire at the outlying encampments, while Kinleana and Kryl question the residents of Tailfeather. Afterwards, we shall regroup near Lost Bath and share our findings. Assuming there are no objections, let us be about it. He learned how to draw people from memory because he had a girlfriend. Unrequited love, of course. Or boyfriend. We don't judge here. I mean, Estinian's definitely his boyfriend, so, you know. My, he certainly has matured, hasn't he? Hard to imagine he was once a boy who practiced drawing for hours to impress young ladies. Anyway, we'd best get started. Find me when you've finished making your rounds. Searching for a friend of yours? Let's have a look then. No, ain't seen him around, sorry. What is that you got there, a sketch? Can't say I know the face. You say he's something of a warrior? I heard tale the other day about a Hurrian vagabond who brought down a Bandersnatch by himself, and with style. The way they tell it, he was dancing with the beast like it was the bell of the bleeding ball. Sound like your man? Sure does. Tancred is a very majestic sausage. A Hurrian man? We're not exactly rare, you know. Could you be more specific? Yes, here's an exact picture. Oop. Plug in my controller. I did spy this one bloke a while back. Didn't get a good look at his face, but could have been him. This was beyond the forest, as I recall, along the river, to the west of Tailfeather. I remember thinking he wasn't much of a hunter. The lad was making no effort to cover his tracks, see? That and he was carrying an axe instead of a bow. Now that is not Thancred. Thancred doesn't use an axe. That's mysterious. Finished? In that case, I think we've learned everything we can here. Let's see what the others have found out. Christmas bear, Christmas bear. Nope. What do I get for rotating the camera as I fly? Don't rotate your camera and fly, kids. My apologies for our late arrival. We thought it wise to question as many hunters as we could. Many have made camp in inaccessible locations, ideal for hunting game, not so for receiving visitors. Nevertheless, our time proved well spent. There have been countless sightings of an exceptionally capable Hurrian hunter, with whom no one is familiar. Though none chanced to see the man's face, his height and build match Thancred's description, as does his riding prowess. So you've heard the same tales. Be that as it may, we yet want for conclusive proof. Mayhap this is unrelated, but I heard a curious tale regarding a Vath trader. He came to Tailfeather in search of garments fit for a man of refinement, which seemed a rather curious description for one of his kind. You're implying that Thancred sent a Vath to the market in his stead? Why would he not go himself? Well, if you recall, you emerged from the livestream as naked as your name day. A scene I shall never forget. Is it now? Well, I was pleased to see you. I mean, it was a simple statement of fact. Got to see Booba. Stands for reason that Thancred found himself in the same predicament. In any case, if you had dealings with the Vath, they should be able to tell us, no? Quite right, Kral. Quite right. Alfino got to see titties. His young teenager heart couldn't handle it. Well, what are we waiting for? For all we know, Thancred could be waiting for us in Lost at Vath. We should go see the Vath right away. Come along, everyone. Come along. Great hunters, we welcome you once more to Lost Ass Vath. What do you seek this day? We seek a man with whom we were told you may have had certain dealings. How curious! The hunters tire of goodly sport and pursue mortal prey. No, he is not prey, but a friend long missing. Good. He's a friend of the Vath as well, one with whom we have traded many times. Truly, and you're quite certain it was this man? There's no doubt. The flesh and clothes and skins came to us from Somal, lost and weak. He offered meats and hides in trade, and in exchange we tended his wounds. He brought us much flesh, so skilled a hunter he was, much flesh. When he asked for garments, we were glad to provide them. And where is he now? Gone to Lost Ass Nath, not long ago, when he heard that One Mind had summoned our god once more. Ravana is returned. We'd often did say the Nath had grown as before, but what could Thancred hope to accomplish by himself? Honored Elder, we thank you for your help. Would that we could repay this kindness ere we depart, but we must hasten to our comrade's side. Go, great hunters, lest the Nath claim him as a sacrifice. Ravana's been summoned again. Are we gonna have to fight him? You'll see. Ooh, that looks like a B rank. Or maybe an A rank. It's an A rank. I'ma fight it. Time to kick its ass! The fact that a level 60 takes this long to kill at level 90 is just proof of how much HP the A rank hunts had. You're supposed to take this on with teams and teams of level 60s, like... Woo! Moving on. Back to Thancred.
Who else could be? Thancred. It could be Thancred. We must hurry.
It could be Thancred, but is it Thancred? Nuh-uh. That's not Thancred. That's the man from the moon. Oh god, a headache. It's the Moon Man!
This day, we reclaim the reins of history. This day, we rid ourselves of the Ascians forever.
Fools playing at heroes, all of you. Is this how you believe you can save your world?
We can and we will, Ascian. You shall see. Or perhaps you will not. So you are the warrior of light, the savior of Eorzea. It's a wonder you didn't come sooner, what with the primal and all. Lost a step, have we?
Have care. The ether moves strangely around him.
It would seem we share a common enemy. Mayhap you would tell us who you are.
Shall we show them?
This is Thancred. Edgy Thancred.
Not very sporting of you to interrupt. But so be it. Mark well our faces, warrior of light. For we are the warriors of darkness. Walkers of a different path. And we shall meet again.
Warriors of Darkness? Really?
Really? Yes, really, Kryle. Just you wait. One day I too will be a warrior of dankness.
Thancred, are you all right?
Pleasantries can wait. I'd rather not be here when the Nath arrive. Agreed?
I am not Thancred. I am edgy Thancred. With an eye patch! Look at this man. Look at that eye patch.
Suffice it to say, our reunion was not at all as I pictured it. Waiting until the last instant to join the fray. 'Tis plain you have not lost your appetite for the dramatic.
My appetite for the dramatic? Have you forgotten the circumstances of our parting? The heroic last stand, the tunnel filling with light, and then... had I known you intended to use forbidden magics to deliver me to some god's forsaken wilderness, I would have thanked you in advance.
Thancred.
If nothing else, you might have warned me that I would emerge from the live stream in the altogether. Eventually, I managed to fashion knives from some obsidian I found, and set about...
Praise be the censor nutkin.
Given that I'm not all that skilled in leatherworking, it's probably for the best that I met the Vath before I was reunited with you.
Thancred has been so many jobs. Fucking gladiator, rogue, ninja,
So you
gunbreaker.
clothed in skins of whom the storyteller spoke.
A description which fit me as ill as the skins themselves. Happily, I was able to trade with the Vath for garments better becoming a man of refinement. From them, I learned of Ravana, and of the great warrior who had once laid him low.
It me! I'm the great warrior who once laid him low, by auto-attacking him to death for 10 minutes.
Whence did you conclude that were you to track the Primal's movements, it would surely bring you into contact with the Scions once more?
It seemed a reasonable assumption. I could think of no one else with your enthusiasm for slaying beastmen gods. Until now, that is.
Ah, yes. The self-proclaimed warriors of darkness. 'Tis only fitting that they stand in opposition to the warrior of light, I suppose.
I glimpsed the leaders past, if only for a moment. They were confronting a man in black. An Ascian, I think.
If these warriors are capable of doing battle with Ascians and Primals both, they must be possessed of powerful protection. Protection not unlike the Echo.
That's because they have the Echo. Wild, I know. But not just any Echo. Evil Echo. That's not true. Oh, God. Just knowing what I know about the Warrior of Darkness, all this just hurts. Blessed with the power of the Echo, and driven to put down primals. Despite his declaration that they walk a different path, I struggle to see how their goals conflict with ours. Nor is it that the only oddity. I find it passing strange that such exceptional individuals would have wholly escaped our notice until now. Surely we would have heard rumors of and attempted to recruit them to our cause. I recall no such adventurers, and I would soon not forget their like, nor would any of us, I think. One of the primary duties was to scour the city-states for promising candidates, which is how Thancred found Kinliana. Ah, the memories. It seems like only yesterday that you slew your first primal. Speaking of which, I had the distinct impression that that was not the first time that the band of merry men and women had killed a god. I labor to believe that a band of preternaturally gifted adventurers had been traveling the land, slaying primals without our knowledge, so it would imply gross negligence on our part. Speculation will avail us not. There is far too much we do not know. For the present, we must needs concentrate on what we do know, namely that Lord Ravana is no more. Vidofnir must be informed. The news may render her more receptive to Sir Amaric's invitation. Since you seem to have affairs here well in hand, I shall take my leave. Simply being in the vicinity of this colony is giving me a stinking headache. If you have need of me, I shall be with Master Matoya. I would beg her assistance with the search for Minfilia. Wait, Minfilia is missing? I thought she escaped with Kinliana. I shall explain on the road. Much has happened in your absence. Look, I don't want to talk about Minfilia. My character has a lot of feelings, okay? Not me, it's just my character, he's aware. I had not thought to see thee again so soon, mortal. If thou seekest the night, know that she hath long since departed for Ishgard. My thanks, Vidofnir, but it was not for her we came. We bring good tidings to you and yours. Lord Ravana, who had been summoned by the Nath, has again been laid low. Truly, once more you mortals have succeeded where mine own kind did fail. You have our deepest thanks. Would that we could take the credit. The god fell by another's hand. Another? Revelation upon revelation. Regardless, it is cause for celebration. The Nath will have no choice but to withdraw. But to another matter, I have tidings for thee as well. Regarding the Ishgardian's invitation? As promised, I brought the matter to my sire. Hearken to his answer now. For 1,000 years have I mourned my beloved, who gave her life to forge a peace thy king betrayed. Such was my lot, until a child of Ishgard came unto me. For want of warmth, she wrapped herself in a dream, yet the world will remember her deeds. For truth she fought, for justice she sinned, for redemption she sacrificed, and became as light. To follow one's heart, to have faith in one's convictions, be it for weal or for its woe, such is the folly and the glory of man and of dragon. He hath entrusted the choice to us, and we have made it. We will keep faith with you who walk in the light. Then you accept Sir Amaric's invitation. Let it be known that I, Vidofnir, shall journey unto Ishgard on behalf of my people. We are honored to receive your answer, and will convey your words to our allies without delay. It is happening, Izel. Would that you could be here to see it.
Even as the Scions celebrated the return of a long-lost friend, honorable men plotted to deprive them of another. Honorable men, to whom Sir Emeric was no hero, but a scheming patrician.
Shanked! Bitch, what's the point of your armor if like a kitchen knife can stab you? What is the point of that armor?
Honorable men who would fain wash the paving stones of foundation with the tyrant's blood.
It's made of paper.
Honorable men whose knife in the dark was the spark which set the city aflame, and who sang as it burned.
There was a hole in his armor in that exact spot where he got shanked by the kitchen knife. It's just a glamour. He's really walking around nude. I believe it. Sounds like an Amric thing to do. Right, let us not keep Sir Emmerich waiting. Are you quite well, Thancred? Yes, quite well. Forgive me, you have given me rather a lot to digest. This whole affair with the Ishgardians and the Dravanians, and our friends nowhere to be found. It would seem there is no end to our troubles. We can but face them head on, one at a time. For now we must apply ourselves to our allotted tasks, and leave the others to theirs. Remember, Thancred, we found you as they found me. In time, we will find Eda and Papalymo, and Minfilia as well. Those troubles will soon be but a memory, one which we will look back on together. Pray do not misunderstand. I did not mean to imply that it would be otherwise. I merely wish that I had rejoined our grand adventure at one of its more triumphal moments. Despite your recent accomplishments, the mood here is less than celebratory. But I have no doubt that we will enjoy many a glorious victories soon enough, as you may rest assured that I will play my part in them to the very hilt. I know you will. So then, to the congregation. Here we go, my first real yawn of the night. Pay no attention to the out-of-syncness that is my card. I need a new capture card. You've returned. In this, at least, the fates are kind. Greetings, First Commander. It pleases me to inform you that Vidofnir has accepted Sir Emmerich's invitation. She has. These are glad tidings indeed. Would that the Lord Commander were here to hear them. Ah, is he otherwise engaged? Aye, sleeping off a night, knife to the gut. What? What happened? Will he live? The Kyrigians tell me he will make a full recovery, but had Lord Edmont and Lord Artoel not been on hand when the assassin struck, he would not have been so fortunate. For a mercy, they subdued the fiend before he could land the telling blow. The attack was just the beginning, though. Not long after, buildings all around the city, including several of ours, burst into flame. Bastards caught us completely by surprise. We've been dousing the fires, but for everyone we put out, seems like 2 more start up. Casualties are mounting, especially in the Broom. It's plain these fires were started by the assassin's conspirators. Until they have been rounded up, there will be no end to this. Will you help us find them? Then let us be about it. The flames are spreading. We must need to begin our investigation immediately. Witnesses must be found. Suspects must be identified. Have you been able to determine the precise locations where the fires were set? Mayhap there is a pattern. If there is, we have yet to discern it. Fires have been reported throughout the city, both in the pillars and foundation. Indeed, given the size of the area affected, I think it's best to divide our forces. Master Alfino and Mistress Y'shtola, I would have you take charge of the investigation in foundation. As you wish, mayhap Tataru can be of assistance as well. Meaning Kinliana and me get the pillars. Oh, they'll like me up there. Only question is, would the grizzled old rogues striking a pose over there be joining us? Thancred, of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. And may I say what a pleasure it is to meet you too, my lady. I'll bet. The name's Hilda. A Scion, eh? And there I was thinking I'd found a fellow ruffian amongst all these illustrious personages. I'll remain here to coordinate the fire-quenching effort. If you learn aught of value, pray inform me immediately. That is all. Oh, don't worry. Thancred's not any esteemed personage. While we could begin by sifting through charred rubble and questioning random passerbyers, in my experience, every town has at least one individual who can be counted on to know things he or she should not. Oh aye, the infamous Lord Amanalaim de Fortin, lover of women and wine, though neither care for him that much. They say he could gossip for Ishgard. Just the sort of fellow I had in mind. Capital suggestion, Kinliana. He'll be at the crozier most like, making an effort to be seen, so let's go and see him. Grizzled I will accept, but old? Thancred, you're an old man. Well, well, if it isn't Kiliana, dearest of all my friends. You're looking rather glum. Something the matter, old girl? Ah, yes, the arsons. Dreadful business, that. And awfully curious, wouldn't you say? There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it all. Naturally, we've doubled the guard outside the manor, along with most of the other houses. Can't have the old pile going up in flames, after all. Oh, in case you were wondering why the hop lawn is awash with refugees, the lower levels of the vault have been opened to those unfortunate souls who have lost their homes. Sir Emmerich's orders, from what I hear. Remarkable man. Not even a knife to the ribs can keep him from his duties. Actually, old girl, if you were thinking of questioning the refugees, I should be more than happy to accompany you to the hop lawn. While you conduct your inquiries, I could offer words of comfort to the distressed and despondent young maidens. Wait a moment. I know what that is. You're giving me one of your looks, aren't you? You do me an injustice, old girl. I will have you know, my heart yearns for but one rose, prickly though she may be. I sense you remain unconvinced. Very well, if it will help prove the purity of my intentions, I shall gracefully rescind my offer. Now run along and catch those arsonists. That was not entirely what I'd hoped for. Whose idea was it to come here again? Never mind. For our next steps, I suggest we divide our efforts. While you question the refugees in the hop lawn, Kiliana, I shall investigate the locations where the fires were set. Would you be so good as to join me, Hilda? You know what? I reckon I would. Can't have you roaming around an unfamiliar city by your lonesome, can we? You don't get robbed blind and left shivering in your small clothes. Yeah, I'll teleport. You look like a man with a trustworthy face. Come, my brothers and sisters, there is food and shelter enough for all in the Basilica. Hellone's blessings upon you, Father. I confess we were not sure if we should come. There are so many unbelievable tales these days about the Archbishop and Sir Emmerich and the Dervanians. Trust in your heart, brother, and pay no heed to the lies of lesser men. They seek only to lead you astray. Do you require succor as well, miss? The Temple Knights have begun their investigation at last. Good. This madness has gone on far too long. Would that I could do something to aid you in your search, but I have a duty to these poor souls. Farewell, and may the Fury guide your steps. There was a man with a satchel. I saw him kneeling outside the window, and then there was smoke everywhere, and it was so hot and I couldn't breathe. I don't remember how I made it out. I suppose I must have climbed. Maybe my arm is getting better after all. Ours was one of the first homes to be claimed, but I didn't see how the fire began. It was only when I heard our neighbors shouting that I looked outside and saw the flames. We barely escaped with the clothes on our backs. Were it not for the church's generosity, I don't know what we'd do. Can I jump down here? Hell yeah, I can. Ah, there you are. Anything to share? Huh, we will require more than the muddled testimonies of a traumatized girl if we are to identify the culprits. While you were questioning the refugees, we inspected the scenes of several of the fires, including the one near St. Raymond's Cathedral, and another near the Tribunal. For a mercy, neither structure suffered significant damage. Some might say they were spared by the grace of the Fury. Others might question how such ruthlessly efficient arsonists contrived to fail so miserably on the two occasions where the target was a bastion of Ishgardian orthodoxy. Nothing conclusive, of course, but it does give one cause to wonder. Alfina will doubtless have an opinion. Oh, he's further down. Alfie, no! Where are you hiding? Alfie, no! Alfie, no! Where you at, buddy? Here. Silence will avail you not, sir. Ah, Kinliana, I was just about to summon you. As you can see, we have detained a suspect. We found the man loitering near the remains of one of the stricken buildings. According to eyewitnesses, he was also present before the fires broke out. We wished to have words. He did not, so we insisted. Let me go, damn it! You've got the wrong man. Why, but you reek of oil, and there are those burns on your hands. An occupational hazard, I suppose, but tell me, does arson pay well? I'm a victim, you imbecile, look at me. Aye, that you are, after a fashion. You should know that your pious patron has already spun us a delightful yarn about how his pet mongrel slipped the leash and set about burning half the city to the ground. Not very noble of him, grant you, but then those highborn types really do show loyalty to their pets. In fact, he called you rabid and begged us to put you down. That's bollocks! He was the one who told me to keep going! Yeah, even a sinner such as me could find salvation in the Fury's work, he said. I'd get left behind. I'd left it behind, tried to, with all my heart. Said my prayers every day, like a good man. But he came to me. He came to me! There you have it. Hilda, would you be so kind as to escort our friend here to the congregation? Aye, so long as you don't mind if he's limping when he gets there. That was incredible, Thancred, but how did you know he would confess? Well, I've seen his like before. A troubled soul manipulated by men of power and wielded as a weapon. I could not be certain, of course, but given the stakes, I thought it worth the risk. And if our captive had called your bluff? Must we entertain hypotheticals? The world as it is vexing enough. Thank you, Thancred. Whether by luck or judgment, we have at last confirmed that these arsons were orchestrated by a person or persons of the influence. I think it best that we now return to the congregation and discuss how best to proceed. Alright, I think I will report to Lucia. We'll listen to what she's got to say, and then we'll call it an evening. 11:30. I'm starting to lose the ability to speak the English language, as I often do. Just kidding, I never had it to begin with. But, you know, we've streamed almost 12 hours today. We've had a good old time doing it. I want to keep on schmoovin' because I want to get the best girl, but we're not getting the best girl tonight, so. On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, I thank you all. The man you apprehended is being interrogated as we speak. Though he fell silent upon realizing we had not turned his master, he will soon tell us what he knows, one way or another. Pardon the intrusion, First Commander. Ah, Lord Otwell. Are you come to see your father? He's attending Sir Emmerich in his chambers at present. I am. He bid me bring this salve. And do not let me detain you, and thank you for your kindness, my lord. In times of trouble, every man must do his part. Would that I could do more. My lord Otwell did not seem in the best of spirits. 'Tis little wonder, Master Alfino. His father is widely slandered, and his half-brother not yet cold in the grave.
I do not mean to diminish our accomplishments, but until we identify the ones who ordered the fires set, our work is far from finished.
Between the various conservative and religious factions in Ishgard, I dare say there's no shortage of parties who would like to see the status quo preserved. Do any likely suspects spring to mind?
Far too many to count.
Lord Commander, your wounds.
Are healing well. Thank you. Time is of the essence. Lest we forget, these men would sooner put their own city to the torch than see it change. When our enemies learn that we have apprehended their arsonist, there is no telling how they will react.
Lord Commander, an armed mob has seized control of the vault.
And now we know. Tell us what happened, sir. Spare no detail.
We were directing refugees into the Basilica, as you ordered, when all of a sudden, men brandishing weapons were all around us. It happened so fast, my lord. We had no time to respond. They've taken the refugees hostage and barricaded themselves inside the vault.
And they sent you to deliver their demands.
They, the true brothers of the faith, demand that a conclave to select the next archbishop be held forthwith. Furthermore, they declare that you, Lord Commander, are guilty of patricide and high treason, and that you must surrender yourself at once to receive of the...
Look, it's that priest with the face that was like totally a good guy face.
Ridiculous! I mean, do they honestly think that executing Sir Emmerich would change anything? That the truth will somehow die with him?
These fundamentalists rage against the passing of the old ways, unable to accept there can be no going back.
Given the fanciful nature of their demands, a peaceful resolution does not seem likely. If the hostages are to be rescued, it will be by force, I fear.
Agreed. Lucia, take a contingent of knights and establish a perimeter outside the entrance.
At once, Lord Commander.
Hilda, I need your people out in force throughout the Broom. When word spreads of the situation, the friends and family of the hostages may try to take matters into their own hands. I will not give these militants more targets. I shall lead the assault on the vault. Master Alphino, can I count on the support of the Scions?
Of course.
We are in your debt.
I shall join you as well, Lord Commander.
Your assistance is most welcome, Lord Atwarel. To arms, then, friends. Time is against us.
And that's where we're gonna leave it off. Next time we'll assault the vault, kill a man, maybe. We only sometimes kill men, but you know, we'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. It's always more fun when people are chilling, even if it's just big lurk. I get big sad when I'm sitting here by myself sometimes during you know, a story that I love. 14's near and dear to my heart. I want more people to appreciate the story even if they don't want to play the game itself. So yeah, I have to cut this stream into several highlights, which will be posted in the Discord as usual. If there's any parts you missed that you want to catch up on,